Hello, everybody. It's Bubba Bashit back with you. And we just got a few more days before Christmas and New Year's and football coming up on over them bowl games. But I wanted to put out a video just touching more on what I had briefly explained in my intro video. And let me get right to it. And I mean right to it. I am not interested that much in how you swing the golf club. I mean, we're going to touch upon that somewhat, but that is not my area of expertise. Now, I've been teaching golf a long time, and I spent just about as many years on the PGA Tour as what they call a journeyman. I was one of the original long hitters, but I never achieved the stardom or the what you call the household fame as all them fellas, your Tom Weiskopfs and your the Lee Trevinos and all them fellas. But what I developed over the years, because I was not in the spotlight, was the ability to observe. And I was at the observing the heights, the towers. The towers of the game, those at the very tippity top. And over many days and weeks and months and years of observation, I was able to develop a philosophy. And that's the philosophy that I'm going to communicate with you on this channel. And let me get right to one of my basic tenets. And that is that you are a victim of modern life. See, you don't even know. You were born and grew up and raised and went to school. Maybe you went to college, and you are just operating in an environment that you learn to take on without question. Or it's just natural just to go by the rules and regulations that the adults and the schools kind of lay out for you. But then you find out you get to be older, you get to be an old coot like me, and you find out some of these things aren't right. Not only are they not right, but they're hurting your thinking process, and therefore your ability to hit the long ball. And just let me remind you, that's the goal. The number one and singular goal of this whole video series is to help you hit the long ball off the planet. And you can't do that with your current mental state. Let me give you an example. I really don't care how you hit the golf. I mean, there's a million ways to hit the golf ball, to swing the club. That is not my focus. I mean, because here's why. Everybody wants a tip or a secret that's going to let them play well. But look, you got your one-plane swing. You got your two-plane swing. What they call a single-plane swing. That's where the club shaft and your arm are kind of extended like a hoe, like a 12-foot rake handle. It's all like one line. You got your rotary swing golf. You got your top speed golf. You got all kinds of different brands and philosophies and pros and influences and approaches, including gravity golf. Now, that was a hell of an idea. That was a hell of a hook. If you can work a natural force, and something that's in nature, into the brand of your golf swing, you've done a hell of a job. Because gravity is everywhere. Those fellas, that is a hell of an angle. You take the, I mean, and I don't know everything about it, but basically they're saying that gravity plays a major role in the swing. Well, hell, that was brilliant. Whoever came up with that hook. But they've got every way to analyze the swing these days. They got your TrackMan, you got your flat scope, You got 3D swing analyzers that create a recreation of the torso so you can see it from a three-dimensional perspective. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have those airport scanners out there on the golf teaching tee so that they can analyze your naked body mid-swing. And they might even take it any further. They're gonna be able to scan the insides of your body. And somebody's going to, you watch, somebody's going to come up with the internal organs swing. You know, like you hear some people say today that in your swing, you want to keep your shoulders back while you open up the hips. Well, somebody's going to come along and say, well, in the internal organ swing, you need to keep your lungs closed to the club path, to the target line, while you open up your intestines. Now, it sounds like ridiculous, but that's what's going to happen. So there are a million ways to swing the club. That's not my concern. I'm concerned about the inches of the golf course between your ears, and that's your mind. And you have learned things just growing up in society that aren't necessarily true or correct. Let me give you an example. You might have heard the phrase, if you want something done, you got to give it to a busy person. And the thinking being that since they're busy, they know how to get stuff done as part of their natural state. But then we find out today that this multitasking philosophy that we've all been indoctrinated with, they say, oh, you need to learn to multitask so that you can get a lot more done. Well, then you find out that that's a whole bunch of malarkey, that nobody can effectively multitask or split their attention between two different activities. I mean, that's like saying that you could cook dinner while you're having sexy time with your wife. I mean, it's just impossible. You got to concentrate on one thing at a time. And I just don't, I mean, that's like saying that my cousin can whip up a bunch of his best moonshine while he's at this simultaneously building an outhouse for his neighbor whose outhouse was blown over by the recent windstorms. It's just impossible. So that is just one example about how your mind is ruining your ability to hit the golf ball long. Because you have certain assumptions and certain things that are cluttering up your mind. See what I'm saying? I am going to declutter your mind so that you can swing that dang golf club and spank the ball so that you can crank it and spank it. It's all going to happen right here on this channel. But right now, it's only a few days before Christmas. I want you to have a wonderful time with your family and your crazy relatives. All of your crazy relatives, you got to have fun with them and a new year and a football. And I want you to enjoy all that. But and we're going to come back with some more videos that explain this philosophy and get you freewheeling. That's what we call it, freewheeling. And you will be amazed at how much better you play, how much farther you can hit it off the tee, and how much more better you enjoy the great game of golf. The game that gave me everything that I hold dear in my many decades on this planet Earth. Until next time, this is Bubba Bashit.